Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host. Well, good morning and welcome to the voting day edition of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, the polls are now officially open at 6 a.m. and I'm so glad that you've joined us. We have a lot of viewer comments we're going to get to a little bit later on in the program. We're going to be talking with Chemung County Executive Chris Moss. You will not want to miss that. Also, Elisa is going to join us and tell us a little bit about Adopt a Veteran program, which obviously is coming right up. They're taking donations. You'll learn all about that in the 7 o'clock hour, and you'll hear from Chris Moss. So it's an exciting morning already. Let's get to some viewer comments. This viewer writes in, good morning. Well, good morning to you. I think you have an interest in music. I do. More to the point, in covers. Well, I would say music in general, but I am fascinated by covers very often. The original Hey Joe was written by a band whose name at this moment I can't recall. Anyway, check out the Robert Plant version. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I was doing some research. The Hey Joe saga is kind of interesting. How many people took credit for writing it? Some people consider it just a standard. So you've opened up a rabbit hole for me, and I appreciate that. I like that. Robert Plant, sure you know the name, but he had, as I guess you know, went off on his own. On the CD or album, as in my early historic life, such was referred to, Dreamland, track 9 on the CD I have. Check it out. Almost, maybe not even almost, but I would say that this rendition of Hey Joe is the equivalent of With a Little Help from My Friends by the great band behind Joe Cocker, whose glorious voice was meticulously integrated into the mix. Yeah, that was the Grease Band, if you're talking about the Woodstock edition. I may have even been on the album. Obviously, an amazing cover, if you will. But if you recall, Paul McCartney basically saying, well, it's Joe Cocker's now after he did it. But yes, thank you for that. I always appreciate music suggestions, so thank you. Comment from a different viewer, from Mark, as a matter of fact. He says, good morning. Well, I say good morning, Mark. President Trump endorsed Andrew Cuomo, and we're going to get to that later on. I'd love to know your thoughts, because we had, and I understand, quite a few people that were upset with Congressman Langworthy, who endorsed Cuomo last week. And then Trump coming out late yesterday and endorsing Cuomo as well. We're going to get to the specifics of what he had to say. But Trump also said if Mamdani wins, funds to New York City will be terminated. And Cuomo said it's not an endorsement, it's a plea to keep Mamdani from winning. Yes, because Mamdani instantly criticized Cuomo for the endorsement from Trump. Again, we're going to get to all of that. And here we go. From Karen, it's Karen's quote of the week, and she says, happy Election Day to all. Well, happy Election Day to you. In honor of Election Day, this week's Karen's quote comes from the author-editor Oscar Ammerger, known as the Mark Twain of left-wing politics. Interesting. I'm not left-wing or even left-leaning, but I agree with this quote. Again, Oscar, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Ammerger, saying, quote, politics is the gentle art of getting votes from the poor and campaign funds from the rich by promising to protect each other from the other. I like that quote. Thank you very much, Karen. We'll read that again in the 7 o'clock hour. Hey, let's start with some great local news, because not only is it Election Day, you know, sometimes we start out with kind of doom and gloom, and I do have some of those stories that we're going to get to later on. But this is wonderful. Our good friend, Sheriff Jim Allard, was recently presented with the Defender Award from the American Constitutional Rights Union, the ACRU. He was recognized for honoring his oath of office and performing his duties in accordance with the Constitution of the United States of America. The initiative recognizes law enforcement agencies and their leaders who honor their oath of office, uphold the law, and demonstrate their cooperation and partnership with federal law enforcement agencies. Sheriff Allard stated, I am honored to accept this award on behalf of the dedicated men and women of the Steuben County Sheriff's Office. I've always advocated for strong partnerships with all of our law enforcement partners, whether local, state, or federal. When we work together as a law enforcement profession, it makes everyone safer, and that has always been my goal. So big congratulations to Sheriff Allard winning the Defender Award from the American Constitutional Rights Union. I thought that was a great way to kick off the program. Hey, we've got a couple of quick things here. You want to make some money? Sure, we all do. How about this? Before we talk about the mayor's race, this out of New York City. There's a group of, all you can do is really call them snitches, who have raked up nearly $1 million apiece. What do? They report idling trucks to the city. This, among the people, I'm not going to read each name, but I guess what happens is if you film a vehicle idling for more than 3 minutes and you send the clip to the city, you collect checks worth up to 50% of the vehicle's ensuing fines. Wow, these people making nearly $1 million apiece going around looking for idling vehicles. Making millions. Anyway, I found that really interesting. I got reading that this morning. There is one way to make some money: to rat on your neighbors in New York City. Seems about right. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer responded to President Trump's 60 Minutes interview. We had brought up that interview yesterday on the program. Yeah, we're going to go through some things quickly and then get into the elections. If you have any last-minute pitches you'd like to make for our local races, I would love to hear that, as a matter of fact. I know some of you already early voted. Feel free. You can still make your voice heard. So, Senator Schumer, what looks like making a legal threat. Schumer called the interview unhinged and suggested that he would file a complaint with the Federal Communications Commission over the episode's editing. Maybe I should file a complaint with the FCC against the Trump White House for editing his unhinged 60 Minutes interview. It will use the exact same language Trump lodged against Vice President Harris. Schumer's post seemed to be in reference to Trump's original lawsuit against CBS News, in which he accused the company of deceptively editing that 2024 60 Minutes interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris. However, Trump did not file an FCC complaint at the time, though he called for the network to lose its broadcasting license over the issue. The FCC complaint was filed by the Center for American Rights, which argued CBS News' editing decisions amount to deliberate news distortion. Anyway, boy, Chuck Schumer's trying hard to be one of the faces of the resistance, still not having endorsed in that mayoral race, as far as I'm aware. Kind of interesting. But another face of the resistance, Democrats. Oh, this is kind of interesting. We're all excited to see that after today, if Elise Stefanik will declare that she's going to run for governor of New York. We can also sit back and wait for this announcement: Nancy Pelosi's possible retirement. The former House Speaker is expected to make an announcement about her political future after today's elections. I like how they say Democrats are bracing for the possible retirement. Pelosi, one of the party's most powerful, popular, and effective leaders, who served as chief antagonist to President Trump during his first term and has quietly counseled Democrats as they take on Trump in the second term. She is expected to make an announcement about her future after tonight's election results, when voters will consider a ballot measure known as Proposition 50 that would redraw the state's congressional lines. Pelosi is a prominent proponent of the plan, which Democrats hope would net them several seats in next year's midterm elections. What did I read that's going to cost like $250 million? Multiple Democrat sources in her home state and in Congress told NBC News that they believe the 85-year-old California Democrat will choose not to seek re-election in 2026 after nearly 4 decades representing her San Francisco-based district. Yes, 85. I think she already declared in paperwork that she was going to run. A lot of people do that very early on, Pelosi doing so as well. That would put her at 85, going into another 2-year term. I wish she would stay for 10 more years, said one House Democrat from California. I think she's out. She's going to go out with Prop 50 overwhelmingly passing, and what a crowning achievement for her to do that. Her departure, if it happens, would end an era in Congress where her unparalleled skills as a legislative strategist, vote counter, and fundraiser helped make Pelosi the first woman to win the Speaker's gavel, and it would touch off a more furious scramble for her coveted House seat. All right, there you go. So another big announcement. Oh, I see Pelosi also said that Trump, this was on CNN yesterday, she called President Trump the worst thing on the face of the earth. He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway, so even on CNN, the reporter had to push back a little bit saying, you think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth? Pelosi said, I do. Yeah, I do. because he's the president of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives. He's chilled the press. He's scared people who are in our country legally. So the most vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth. And since we're talking about Democrats, quickly, on MSNBC's Chris Jansing reports, Senator Andy Kim responded to a question that shows polling at 68% of Americans think Democrats are out of touch with the concerns of most. 68%. He says it is due to the corruption, which people see when it comes to the president literally profiteering off the Oval Office. We see it with the cheating that is happening by the Republicans trying to push this midterm gerrymandering that they're doing across the board. And that President Donald Trump's tax and healthcare policies are why they don't think our politics are working. And that's why they're holding it over the heads of everybody. He's also stated that he'll do everything I can to compel the Democrats to do that with greater urgency and greater haste, especially taking on this anti-corruption message, which I know is connecting with people all over the country. So people see Democrats as out of touch due to Trump's policies and GOP cheating. Interesting. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about the government shutdown. We are going to get into and it kind of ties in. We're also going to get to the elections. It's not just the mayoral race. There's important elections going on throughout the country. We'll talk about that as well. I see some waves. I see some comments coming in. What are your thoughts on today? How are you feeling locally, mayoral-wise? Your thoughts in general. Yes, the polls are now open. You can also make your last-minute endorsements or make your speculation. Some polls now have Cuomo within single digits of Mamdani, but still an uphill battle. We're going to talk about that as well. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Attention, Twin Tiers. H.L. Stevens' lease in Horseheads is ending, and everything in the store has to go. Sofas, bedrooms, recliners, mattresses, dining sets. We're now reducing prices even further. All items must go. The Horseheads location only is closing, so hurry before it's too late. Our Montour Falls store will stay open, and we're expanding very soon to serve you even better. So don't miss your last chance for a once-in-a-lifetime savings at H.L. Stevens Furniture in Horseheads, New York.
The Twin Tiers Comic Con, November 15th and 16th at the Arnott Mall Event Center. Meet film and TV legend Ed Begley Jr., plus the voice of Pocahontas, the stars of Mallrats, and voice actors from Naruto, Kingdom Hearts, Street Fighter, and more. Veteran comic book creators and over 150 artists and vendors. Gaming events and costume contests with cash prizes. Free activities for kids, Q&A meet and greets, and so much more. Twin Tiers Comic Con, veterans and kids 14 and under free. Tickets on sale now at twintierscomiccon.com.
Stands for the Modular Airborne Firefighting System. We fly assisting the U.S. Forest Service in their firefighting efforts.
Tanker 05, I need a drop on my location.
The fire retardant that we drop establishes a fire containment line so the fire doesn't burn through it.
It helps out the guys on the ground who are actually building trench lines, hand lines.
Outstanding job, 05. Thank you very much.
Most recently, we've had some fires out here in Colorado. We've also been deployed to several other areas, including California.
Saving property, saving lives. Start your adventure with the Air Force Reserve.
Fox 10 p.m. News is the first primetime local news for the Twin Tiers. Our reporters, Haley and Dante, scour the southern tier to bring you up-to-date news regarding local businesses, economics, and how national decisions impact our area. If you're not near a TV, don't worry. You can also catch our 10 p.m. news live on WYDCTV.com/livestream. Don't miss Big Fox 10 p.m. news on WYDC, on TV, or our website.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio on Election Day. I'm so glad that you've joined us. A comment from a viewer. Nancy Pelosi can retire on her insider trading millions. Thank you very much. Now, on the government shutdown, tonight will create, if nothing goes through, the longest government shutdown in history. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said yesterday that there isn't enough support from Republicans to invoke the so-called nuclear option and kill the upper chamber's filibuster rule. The votes aren't there, he told reporters, according to Politico. When asked if he had spoken with President Trump about the issue, Thune reportedly laughed and responded, "Oh yeah." Trump had urged Senate Republicans last week to change the procedural rule. We know all about that. We talked about that extensively on the program. The president argued that without needing to hit the 60-vote threshold, Republicans could end the country-destroying government shutdown with a simple majority vote. And he re-upped that demand in that interview that we mentioned yesterday with 60 Minutes. I know John doesn't, well, John and a few others, but you know what? The Republicans have to get together, acknowledging the reluctance of Thune and other Republicans to set a precedent that Democrats could use to ram through their own legislative priorities should they take control of the Senate. I disagree with him on this point, he said of Thune's pro-filibuster stance. In his first floor speech of the 119th Congress, Thune defended the filibuster as a tool that the founders intended to ensure that the Senate stays the Senate. I do think Trump has a good point that if or when the Democrats could get to the numbers to destroy the filibuster, they would. Even under former President Biden, Senate Democrats tried but failed to abolish the filibuster. You recall, who was it? Ilhan Omar and so many others were calling for the end of the filibuster. And then when Trump and the Republicans took over, they were no longer for that position. It's interesting how that works. So I understand Trump's side on it, and I understand, if I'm being honest, I understand Thune's side to it too. And it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't have the support of enough Republicans because there are many Republicans who stand with that 60-vote threshold. So that's just an update. Now, the Trump administration agreed to partially fund SNAP despite the government shutdown. It will receive about 50% of its normal benefit levels throughout November using a contingency fund set aside for natural disasters and other emergencies. The announcement by the White House follows a pair of Friday rulings by federal judges in Boston and Providence, Rhode Island, rejecting the U.S. Department of Agriculture's plan to stop paying out benefits on November the 1st. A Department of Agriculture official attested in court documents that per orders issued by the United States District Courts for the District of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, food and nutrition services intended to deplete SNAP contingency funds completely and provide reduced SNAP benefits for November 2025. SNAP has about $4.65 billion in its contingency fund, a little more than half of the $8 billion the feds spend on SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million Americans each month. Think of those numbers. So $4.65 billion with a B, set aside for an emergency, set aside for a rainy day. The shutdown happens. We are going to go through that and not even pay for the whole normal month of November. Wow. $4.65 billion, a little more than half of the $8 billion that is spent each month on SNAP benefits. Normally, beneficiaries receive about $190 per month in assistance. The Department of Agriculture indicated that recipients will be able to petition their states for additional benefits as the Trump administration scrambles to address the funding lapse. Following the ruling, President Trump said on Truth Social the White House lawyers were trying to figure out how to provide at least partial benefits in compliance with the ruling. So, of course, this is the opportunity that the media was looking for. Zachary Wolf at CNN says 23 effects being felt on day 35 of the shutdown. The current government shutdown is poised to become the longest in history. On Tuesday, it ties the 35-day record set in 2019. With no serious negotiations happening, it's a good bet the shutdown will continue for the foreseeable future. So what are some of the effects? More than 1 million federal workers aren't getting paid. There's some questions about whether they'll ever get paid. It's not just federal workers who aren't getting paid. Contractors who work indirectly for the federal government are also not getting a paycheck. They are not guaranteed back pay once the shutdown ends. Other non-governmental workers are affected too. Nearly 42 million people won't get their SNAP benefits. Tariffs are partially funding child nutrition programs. WIC. Flu, COVID-19, and RSV data aren't being updated. Head Start programs are starting to lose funds. Obamacare premiums are way up. There are travel delays. There are some mortgage delays. No new Small Business Administration guaranteed loans for small businesses. Nuclear safety workers are furloughed for the first time. A $7 billion hit to the economy, $33 billion in delayed spending and counting, but we don't really know how the shutdown is affecting the economy. IRS operations have been limited. Oh, no. National cemeteries are affected. Many national parks are open but not staffed. Blue states have been targeted for cuts. Furloughed healthcare workers were recalled to the office. It's not possible to get a marriage certificate the normal way in Washington, D.C. That's a niche one. And there have been fewer IPOs. That's CNN's list of 32 ways your life has been affected by the government shutdown. Now, if you are reliant on SNAP benefits, there are a lot of options out there for you. I know there's so many amazing organizations in our area that have food pantries. We talked about it a little bit on the program yesterday, the great one in Painted Post, but in the surrounding area. Well, the staff here at Big Fox put together on our website at WYDCTV.com, and you can find it there yourself if you are in need. It's called Local Resources Available for Food Assistance Amid SNAP Government Shutdown. And it goes and offers a lot of very helpful websites where you can find food pantries, you can find the resources that you need, or on the other side of that coin, if you want to donate to help these food pantries, to help places like the Salvation Army, to help places like the various food pantries or offices for the aging or Meals on Wheels. So you can find that again at WYDCTV.com. And if you have any questions or you missed that, contact me to that number on the bottom of the screen and I can get you that website. Now, with the shutdown, they're starting to, and this is no surprise, they're starting to blame Republicans. They've seen that the message has not been great. Even John Fetterman saying that Democrats own this shutdown. We've had others that have said that we're going to get to here in just a moment. So what the media is now doing, like for instance on this one from out of Buffalo, WKBW, saying, what are you doing for my tax dollars? Where are Western New York's representatives? Now, if you look at, and I know Langworthy did, Congressman Langworthy, I'm not sure how many others have said that they will not take a paycheck until the government's open. But more than a month into the government shutdown, many people are losing SNAP benefits while lawmakers are still being paid. Again, though many opting not to. Keep that in mind. So are these lawmakers, what are they doing to earn their money? This is typical journalism 101. What I mean is at the college level. This is an opportunity to attack sitting Republicans, and one, in this case, to make it fair, to look as if they're not biased, one Democrat. They spoke with Democrat Tim Kennedy, Republican Nick Langworthy, and Republican Claudia Tenney. They requested their calendars for the month of October so we could see for ourselves what they were doing, while so many of you voiced worries about the government shutdown. Congressman Tim Kennedy was the only lawmaker to release any information, sending a daily list of meetings, interviews, and appearances in both Buffalo and Washington between October 1st and October 29th. Tenney's office did not respond, they said, and Langworthy's office said they will not be producing the documents requested. I mean, it's typical journalism, and I don't say that in a positive way. This is a way that they know that they can attack kind of misleadingly. I mean, I know I was there at the press conference when Congressman Langworthy said he would put in the notification that he did not want to get paid until after the government shutdown. So again, we've seen his various media appearances. We know he's attended some events. So to suggest that they're not doing anything for, again, the tax dollars they're not receiving is kind of a bridge too far. Now, we're running just a little bit late. We got to take a break. Don't forget, coming up a little bit later on, we're going to be talking with Chris Moss. You won't want to miss that. That's in right. We're going to play that right at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, so you won't want to miss our talk with Chemung County Executive Chris Moss. What are your thoughts on today's elections? How are you feeling? If you want to make any last-minute pitches for your candidate, please feel free to do so. What are your thoughts on the mayoral race with Trump's endorsement? I would love to hear your thoughts on that specifically. I know I'm just being honest, and I don't blame anybody for this. They were upset with Congressman Langworthy's endorsement of Cuomo. What are your thoughts now that Trump came out yesterday and endorsed Cuomo? Also, Elon Musk did as well. So kind of some interesting, one article, and I can't remember where it was from, said Cuomo's racking up some weird endorsements at the end. I don't think they're weird. I think they could be helpful, but we'll talk about that. I don't want to talk too much about, I'm going to wrap up on the government shutdown when we return, but we talk about how despicable the media is when they want to be. The New Republic, listen to this. I don't have time for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Why the heck, we'll say, did J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk hug like that? The vice president had an uncomfortably close embrace with Charlie Kirk's widow for everyone to witness. Can you imagine to go down this road? That's just pure hatred, folks. Vice President J.D. Vance has some explaining to do over a hug that was a little too close with Erica Kirk. The two were at the University of Mississippi Wednesday night for Turning Point USA's This is the Turning Point tour, the organization co-founded by Charlie that Erica took over after his death. Vance not only was the headlining guest, but also filled Charlie's old role of debating college students from stage. But the internet isn't as concerned with the tour itself or the fact that Vance is timed to play conservative influencer while serving as vice president. Oh, this drips with hate, doesn't it? Instead, they're talking about the embrace between him and Kirk's widow, with Vance's hands on her waist and her face appearing to betray some emotion at the same time. Several commentators seem to suggest this doesn't bode well for Vance's wife, Usha. I know, shouldn't even be giving this a soapbox, but I just have to show you how bad the media continues to be. Anyway, enough on that. But on a more positive note, I just wanted to show you there's just the disgust out there for conservatives, whether it's Vance, whether it's the late Charlie Kirk. But one thing to just end on a positive note when it comes to Erica Kirk, country music superstar Jason Aldean and his wife Brittany are set to take the stage at Fox Nation's 7th Annual Patriot Awards on Thursday, where they will present the inaugural Charlie Kirk Legacy Award to Turning Point USA CEO Erica Kirk. The award, which now will be presented annually, honors individuals who embody Kirk's enduring mission of faith, family, and free speech. There you are. We got to take a short break. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking.
If you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer. If you used hair relaxers and have been diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call today.
This is Jim from Famous Brands. We are ready for fall and loaded with all of your favorite brands. Great new deals are arriving every week. We have the largest selection of clothing and footwear in the Finger Lakes, all at below retail prices. Famous Brands, downtown Watkins Glen, where you're always looking good for less.
When you're on, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Ferrari Auto Team! Your choice. Get a 2025 Ram 1500. 0% for 72 months. Or get a new 2026 Ram 1500, 0% for 60 months. Your choice. 2 new Rams, both 0%. Wow!
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
The Drive Into Fall event is going on now at Ferrario.
In a few words, Urkel, glasses. Nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio on this Election Day edition of Frankly Speaking. Just wrapping up our discussion on the government shutdown. We've talked about Charlemagne, the radio host. He said, as the American people begin, this is Fox News being reported by Fox News, as the American people begin to feel the effects of the government shutdown, Charlemagne urged Democrats to throw in the towel and give them some relief. The health care is going to go up anyway because of the big, beautiful bill, because that didn't include the extension of the tax credits to keep the cost down. So if it's going up anyway, what's the point of Democrats taking the stand to keep the government still closed? And the premiums are set for a year. So at this point, if the premiums have already gone up, if they're set for a year, at least give the people some relief and get the government back open. Democrats, you fought. It seems like you lost the fight. At this point, go on and give it up. At least give the people some relief by getting the government back open. Let these people get these SNAP benefits. Let these government workers get their checks. We don't need all the craziness at the TSA during the holidays. I think you lost. I feel like they lost. It's over. It seems like a pride thing now, said his co-host. Very reminiscent of what Senator John Fetterman saying, that he apologized to the American people for shutting down the government, the Democrats shutting down the government, saying the Democrats own the shutdown. Now, the New York Post editorial board said President Donald Trump moved Monday to blunt the pain Democrats are inflicting on food stamp families with their government shutdown, which the government shutdown will be the longest ever if it continues through Wednesday. Rather than cut off payments after SNAP ran out of cash this weekend, Trump and company will cover at least partial benefits using money from a contingency fund meant for food during natural disasters. The president doesn't want to see the 42 million Americans who depend on food stamps have to struggle any more than necessary. Plus, as ever, he's complying with valid court orders directing the payments to continue, even if the judges in question are likely to be overruled by higher courts. President Trump wants to make sure that people get their food benefits, noted Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Last week, Trump himself said on Truth Social that if the courts provide legal direction, it will be my honor to provide the funding for food stamp benefits. But make no mistake, Democrats are still holding SNAP recipients hostage. The partial payments will only cover 50% of their usual benefits, leaving them painfully short. And they can expect significant delays in getting even that. Democrats openly admit they care more about forcing Republicans to spend an extra $1.5 trillion on various bailouts than on reopening the government. This, quote, is one of the few leverage times we have, confesses House Minority Whip Catherine Clark. If you reopen the government, we lose our leverage, warns Bernie Sanders. Sorry, but shutting down the government was never meant to be a tool used to force the other side to pass massive new legislation. Yes, and how their opinions have changed on government shutdowns through the years, huh? Democrats would be howling if Republicans used the filibuster to pull such a stunt. Indeed, in past shutdown fights, they've relentlessly condemned the GOP for not agreeing to a clean stopgap spending bill, exactly like the ones Democrats now keep blocking. It's beyond pathetic that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer feels compelled to appease their party's deranged base with this nonsense. Because don't think for a moment, Chuck Schumer knows this is wrong. Too bad for SNAP families and federal workers like air traffic controllers who aren't being paid, and airline passengers plagued with delays as some controllers stay home. Trump is right to say he won't be extorted. If you give in to hostage taking today, you'll only see more of it tomorrow. And this is not how democracy is supposed to work. Though we guess it's the democracy Democrats who keep insisting they're fighting for, that it's democracy. Average Americans should make sure that no Democrat lawmaker who shut down the government ever gets their vote again. And see the media again playing in, and I believe maybe it was Mark yesterday. It was somebody yesterday who made the comment that they were using that party that Trump held as kind of a politicalized weapon to go after Trump, and that's exactly the case. New York Times writes, Trump's Great Gatsby party did not accept SNAP. Completely unrelated topics. But does Mr. Trump care? The most famous passage in Gatsby is probably the one in which the book's narrator, Nick Carraway, describes the rich couple Tom and Daisy Buchanan as careless people. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness or whatever it was that kept them together and let other people clean up the mess they had made. The president's priority, as a 60 Minutes interview with him that aired on Sunday showed, is revenge. And of course, getting unnamed companies to pay for that ballroom, a grift machine where people will come pay him even after it's done for his favor. It'll be a good place to host future Gatsby parties, too. We know that's completely misleading, that the names of the people donating have been released time and time again. And some of them are the same mainstream news outlets that are criticizing him for it. We've got a couple of quick things and then on to the mayoral's race. Keep those comments, keep those waves coming in, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
You don't have time to go to the gym? The health club is not an option? Come to Hesselson today and see why swim spas and fitness systems can fit into anyone's yard and budget. 12-foot, 14-foot, 15-foot, 18-foot dual temperature hot tub and swim spas are all on display in Hesselson's indoor and outdoor showroom. Try before you buy. 0% interest-free financing options are available on every Hesselson swim spa. Swim and exercise year-round and start making every day better. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Twin Tiers. H.L. Stevens' lease in Horseheads is ending, and everything in the store has to go. Sofas, bedrooms, recliners, mattresses, dining sets. We're now reducing prices even further. All items must go. The Horseheads location only is closing, so hurry before it's too late. Our Montour Falls store will stay open, and we're expanding very soon to serve you even better. So don't miss your last chance for a once-in-a-lifetime savings at H.L. Stevens Furniture in Horseheads, New York.
Miss a veteran, and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Let's go to some viewer comments on this election day. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. It's called compassion, and this is in reference to the despicable piece, I believe it was at the New Republic, suggesting there was something nefarious between the hug that J.D. Vance gave Erica Kirk. It's called compassion. The left is all about feelings, so I don't understand why they don't understand compassion. Oh yes, that is the one emotion that they don't possess. They feign kindness until it actually means something like the embrace. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer also saying good morning. Good morning to you. I think Cuomo may be a worse option. Once he gets in, he will be there for both terms. Then use that to springboard to a higher office. We know he wants to be president. Mamdani will be one and done, finding less cooperation and support for his implausible ideas than he thinks. Well, you raise a good point. We know, especially before when it was, when Cuomo at least thought it was a shoo-in, that he was going to win and he didn't try hard during the primary. most of us, myself included, said that this isn't where he's done. It's not like he's just going to do a couple terms as mayor and be happy and retire. It's to do something, whether it's to rerun for governor, if he could, quote unquote, fix up New York and then say, look how successful I was, I can do it again as governor. Probably could beat Hochul if he had played out that whole scenario. But of course, he didn't campaign hard enough in the primaries because he thought it was his. And then that's why we're in the situation we are in today. So let's talk about the mayoral race. First, though, two quick things because we talked about Erica Kirk. There's a freshman senator, Tim Sheehy, a Republican from Montana, who was targeted with death threats and other extreme insults by a left-wing city commissioner candidate from Montana's capital who called his office several weeks ago to leave her thoughts about the Republican senator over a voicemail. The voicemail came in July, shortly after Sheehy voted with his Republican colleagues to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill. Hi, this is Hallie McKnight. I'm a constituent in Helena, Montana. I just wanted to let you know that you are the most insufferable kind of coward and thief. You just stripped away health care for 17 million Americans, and I hope you're really proud of that. I hope that one day you get pancreatic cancer and it spreads throughout your body so fast that they can't even treat you for it. That was the cleaner part of the voicemail. So I got to be careful. I hope you die in the street like a dog, she continued. One day you're going to live to regret this. I hope that your children never forgive you. I hope that you're infertile. I hope that you manage to, well, we'll cut that part out too. You are the worst blank I have ever had the misfortune of looking at. Heaven forbid that you ever meet me on the streets because I will make you regret it. Blank you. I hope you die. Wow. All right. And that ties in, that's left-wing city commissioner candidate. That ties in with a recent poll that shows, and this is important to mention as we talk about the rise of Mamdani. A significant portion of young Americans believe there are cases when political violence is acceptable. More than 1/3 of Americans under the age of 45 agreed with the view that political violence can be justified in certain cases, according to the new Politico Public First poll. The portion of young people who think political violence sometimes has a place in society was about 10 percentage points higher than the overall population, of which, disturbingly, 24% believe it is justified in some instances. Politico did not release the crosstabs of the survey, but said there was little partisan divide in the question about condoning political violence. Most voters, 64%, did reject political violence and indicated that it was never justified. Still a shocking amount. Okay, let's talk about New York City. It's not just New York City today. I know we focused a lot on that. We're going to talk more about it today as well, but you can feel free to weigh in on the local races. We had some of the candidates on, as many as we could have, many that reached out. But today, probably the one most people are watching closely is New York. But there's also the New Jersey governor's race. Voters in the traditionally blue state of New Jersey will choose the replacement for term-limited Democrat Governor Phil Murphy. Amid tax hikes and soaring utility costs, affordability has taken center stage in the election. Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican who was endorsed by Trump and has praised the president's performance, has sought to localize the race, pitching himself as the consummate Jersey guy and casting Representative Mickey Sherrill, who moved to the state after a Navy career, as an outsider. This coming from CNN, so it is biased, but keep in mind. Sherrill and Democrats, meanwhile, have emphasized Ciattarelli's link to Trump. Also, she was endorsed by Obama, whatever that's worth. Asked Monday whether Trump is a liability in the governor's race, Ciattarelli said, not one bit. The people of New Jersey know who I am. I will fiercely defend the 9 million citizens of the state every day of the week. There's also the Virginia governor's race. 4 years after Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin won a major upset, tapping into parents' angers over local school boards, his lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears, is seeking to replace him with a campaign centered on transgender policies, particularly in schools. But polls suggest her Democrat opponent, former Representative Abigail Spanberger, has a clear advantage headed into Election Day in a state that 3 times voted against Trump. Democrats have relentlessly tied Earl Sears to Trump, and she has not sought to distance herself from the president. So those are some of the major races. Obviously, we'll be watching California's redistricting battle known as Proposition 50. This allegedly is in response to Texas, but remember, Gavin Newsom signed in the paperwork to get this started before anything was done in Texas. A yes vote would be a big win for Democrats, who have fewer avenues to respond after Republicans also redrew Missouri's maps to add one more seat. All right, there you go. Texas House has a couple special elections. But we're going to talk about, and Trump yesterday having rallies, tele-rallies in New Jersey and Virginia's gubernatorial races. The president will headline tele-rallies on election eve yesterday in New Jersey and Virginia, which are the only two states that hold races for governor the year after a presidential election. So there you are. Trump does loom large over key election day 2025 contest, despite not being on the ballot. Failing to vote tomorrow is the same as voting for a Democrat, the president said on Truth Social. We're going to tell you a little bit about what we're learning about New York State when we come back, but I did hear the corning whistle, so stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
I have been hugely blessed to have all this, and I want to share it. Safety first, goggles, mask, because the scientists can do a number on it. They're welcome to try any of my tools. I just don't want them hurt. You gotta know what they're doing. Just a total blessing for me.
Can you help me?
Mom, Dad, we're going out.
Thank you.
Oh, look, they're playing chess.
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
She's real sick, huh? Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.gov.
You heard them, organdonor.gov.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at organdonor.gov.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We had so many comments. I'm still trying to get through all of them. All right, so I will get to more of your comments after the next break. I only have two that I'm prepared to read right now. Sorry. But I'm not missing anybody. They just all popped in right before I came back on the air. All right, this viewer says, I feel that Republicans should use the nuclear option to end the shutdown. Then keep using it to get everything Trump wants. That could actually secure the 2026 elections and get voter ID passed. Also, that could eliminate a lot of wasteful Democrat programs and projects. The nuclear option could remove leftist justices, and reform the Justice Department. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. The poll about political violence being acceptable is pretty shocking. It absolutely is. It's a left thing. Don't bully. Only we can bully. Thank you very much. Oh, good news coming out of New York, which you don't always hear me say, but Elise Stefanik, of course, could be declaring very soon, hopefully. The original timeline was after the local elections, so after today. Why I say good news? Republicans in New York are winning on new voter enrollment and winning by a lot. Democrats lost 108,219 enrollees over the past year, according to new data. Republicans in New York are growing in their numbers, while Democrats are not. Democrats in New York have a big problem leading into next year's elections. They're losing registered voters. The State Board of Elections released new data Monday on party enrollment across the state as of November 1st. The agency does that twice a year. It's an easy way to see how enrollment has changed for each of the parties with automatic ballot access. Now, I don't have the exact numbers here because it's one of those things they wanted you to pay to go to the next round for the exact numbers. But Republicans have gained thousands of new registered voters. Big news as we lead into perhaps the decision by Elise Stefanik. All right. So a bombshell new New York City election eve poll predicts Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo in a race that will come down to the wire. Andrew Cuomo came in within a razor-thin 4 points of longtime frontrunner Zohran Mamdani in the new Atlas Intel survey released Monday, with the lefty Democrat nominee notching 43.9% support to the governor's 39.4% in the historic three-way contest. The survey found Cuomo, a longtime Democrat running as an independent, would beat Mamdani 49.7 to 44.1% in a hypothetical head-to-head matchup. But Mamdani maintained a lead because GOP's nominee, Curtis Sliwa, claimed 15.5% support according to the poll. Sliwa's support in the Atlas Intel poll actually cratered from 24% in a past survey. Some of the Sliwa supporters are switching to Cuomo. They're peeling off. These are voters who prefer Cuomo to Mamdani. He noted that Democrat socialist frontrunner has faced a barrage of negative attacks in the past few days from Cuomo supporting super PACs bombarding the airwaves. But it's still a lot of ground for Cuomo to make up. The poll dropped as Mamdani, Cuomo, and Sliwa doggedly traversed the city, making their final cases to voters in a spate of appearances from the Brooklyn Bridge's wooden planks to the shores of Staten Island. Yeah, Mamdani did some weird things where, what was he, watching the Knicks game in the nosebleed section to prove that he's one of the everyday people. And Trump yesterday, we're going to talk about this more in depth, but Trump yesterday saying whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. Your thoughts on that? We're going to take another short break and then wrap up hour number one, because in hour number two, we're going to be talking with Chemung County Executive Chris Moss right at the top of the hour. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
This is Jim from Famous Brands. We are ready for fall and loaded with all of your favorite brands. Great new deals are arriving every week. We have the largest selection of clothing and footwear in the Finger Lakes, all at below retail prices. Famous Brands, downtown Watkins Glen, where you're always looking good for less.
This is a Collector Consumer Alert. Hi, my name is Jared Johnson with SueTheCollector.com. Did you know that repossessions are on the rise in America? If your car, truck, or motorcycle has been repossessed by an agent that broke a lock, assaulted you, or trespassed on your private property, you have rights. Call us for a free case review at 1-877-BAD-REPO. You pay nothing unless we win money for you. Call me now.
It's a season of sharing.
Having a good time has always been my number one goal. I tend to get crazy. At my age, I should not be jumping up and down like that. And if you don't know what I mean, ask your mama. The young ones, y'all like, we don't know what you're talking about. But I promise you, in 30 years, you will.
It's the best time in daytime.
weekdays at 2 p.m. on Big Fox.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. A comment from a viewer. Once again, I'm asking what viewer opinions and your thoughts on why the Cuomo endorsement. Talking heads largely fail to mention Sliwa at all and give any consideration for the Republican candidate. Very little mention of him. Why? Instead, they support and endorse the Democrat. What am I missing here? Or has the media just been given their marching orders? Something really smells. Well, I think a lot of it, if I'm being honest, I just think the polling numbers early on had Mamdani so far ahead, with Cuomo a very distant second, but Sliwa a very distant third. The media doesn't give Sliwa from the beginning the coverage that they do give Cuomo or Mamdani. I agree with you there. One of their arguments would be, and I'm not saying I agree with it, one of their arguments would be is that Sliwa is the candidate that always runs, that he ran against Adams, that he's just always there, the perpetual candidate. And so they did not, quote unquote, take him seriously. Now, was that coordinated behind the scenes to make sure that he wasn't taken seriously, that that was their excuse? That very much could be the case. But for better or for worse, this is where we're at. That, and there's two pieces. One, what Trump had to say, and then the New York Post saying, essentially, that a vote for Sliwa is a vote for Mamdani. But this is what the president said, and this is how we're going to wrap up hour number one. We'll read your comments a little bit later on in the next hour, because we've got Chris Moss on at the top of the hour. But Trump taking the Truth Social, saying, if communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home. Because of that fact, that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. I would much rather see a Democrat who has had a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of the class, and as mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. We must also remember this. A vote for Curtis Sliwa, who looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. Following Trump's post, Cuomo said the commander-in-chief didn't actually support the campaign. President Trump doesn't support me. He opposes Mamdani, right? He believes that Mamdani is an existential threat to New York City. He believes he's a communist. He believes he'll bankrupt New York. He's not endorsing me. He's opposing Mamdani, trying to distance himself from Trump's comments. All right, that does it for hour number one. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Chemung County Executive Chris Moss. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your tap water is delicious. I know, right? It's this Culligan Smart drinking water system. What do you think is going on in there?
I'm smelling a touch of chlorine.
Yeah, I'm detecting some PFAS.
I'm also getting notes of lead.
Perfection.
Sending it up.
Here we go.
Certified to reduce more than 70 contaminants. It's like having your own team of water experts. See the smart difference at Culligan.com.
Suburban Propane is here for your residential and industrial propane needs. Serving the surrounding area for over 95 years, we take pride in our reliable delivery service with 24/7, 365 emergency service answered by company representatives. Call today to start your Suburban Propane service.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
I moved to Los Angeles
list all by myself. The order of things I wanted to set up was internet, water, then power. I needed to take a shower, but like I really did need the internet for work and like to watch my shows. That's like kind of a crazy thing to admit in front of a camera. Pretend I didn't say that. I got to Spectrum. I was so relieved that I was getting the best bang for my buck. It was a huge weight taken off of my shoulders.
Real customers, real savings. To see how much you can save, visit Spectrum.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, Chris Moss, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're not going to believe this. I was on Facebook the other day. Last week, it was 7 years since your debate.
Wow.
Chemung County executive.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you know it because you're living it, but to see those pictures and to think of that, what a wild time that was.
That was a wild time. And then the pandemic came, and it's just it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, it really has. So you're running for re-election. What's it been like these last 7, 8 years?
You know what? It's obviously different from being the county sheriff, which I was for 13 years. Relationship with the legislature, obviously, at times could be back and forth. Yeah. But you know what? I think that's where you have a benefit of two different branches of government. Mm-hmm. You know, I see it one way, they may see it another way. Sure. You go back and forth and try and come up with a compromise. But it's been really busy. I mean, a couple of things we did get term limits through. That was very important to me. We have a fund balance policy that we never had before, which means in our fund balance we have to have at least 17% of our annual budget, no higher than 25%.
Sure.
So we got that written into local law.
That's
so
great.
There's been some good things going, but like I said, you know, my original intent was to run for 2 terms, but the pandemic really sucked out 3-4 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I am going to run one more time.
Oh, great. And that term limit, was there a lot of pushback on that? Because that's a great idea.
You know what? My first 4-year term, I couldn't get it through the legislature, but this legislature put it up for a local law, and it overwhelmingly passed. So the legislatures can run for 3 4-year terms, and the county executive can run for 3 4-year terms.
Perfect. And this would be your 3rd term?
This would be my 3rd term, but it didn't start until January of last term. But one more, I should be able to accomplish everything I want to get
then you got it all
at least as county executive.
That's right. Oh, by the way, I saw the pictures. How was trick or treat at the mall?
Holy cow, it was packed.
They
had hundreds of kids up there.
They had Market Street like
every
that,
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, depending on the events, the sheriff and I try and get out throughout the county. I mean, we hit every town, the city, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But it was a busy last couple of weeks. A lot of trunk or treats going on.
I know.
A lot of kids out there, so it's a good thing.
Yeah. So when you decided to run for re-election, I just saw the picture and I got sidetracked. I wanted to start with that. But what are some of your proudest accomplishments when you look back at it?
You know, when I look back, I do have to, as county executive, term limits was big. I ran on that.
Right, I remember.
I also ran on taxes. We've been able to keep the taxes stabilized and decent. I mean, it's tough not to cut services when everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, payroll, health insurance, buying trucks, 10-wheel dump trucks, everything is more expensive. So, you know, it's a balancing act of, you know, where do we come up with the funding, and you try not to keep going back to the taxpayer. And sales tax revenue is really our only other source of, you know, revenue, and it's been flat throughout the southern tier. I watched the Catskill region, Capital region, it's increased a little bit, but we're having a hard time keeping up. So even right now, I think we're about probably between $500,000 to $1 million off what we projected for 2025.
Well, are you concerned about, obviously there's going to be cuts from the Trump administration in New York, and of course that all trickles down to the county level. Are you concerned about that? Or are you
know what, cautiously concerned, but I think a lot of the problem is it's so political. The Democrats throw out, it's going to be the end, it's going to be the end. You know, everybody gets ready. You know, it's just like the SNAP benefits.
Right.
We want to make sure people knew where to go to get to food, if they need food pantries or and so forth. But at the end of the day, you know, it looks like it's going to pan out. And my guess is after Tuesday's election, hopefully they'll get back together and end this shutdown.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of it is political, so I don't see any one thing that's in, you know, Trump's plan that's going to hurt us significantly in this area. But what all you can do is just keep an eye out, and you know, and hope the state's being forthright and let you know ahead of time, because sooner or later it always trickles down to local government.
Right. And when you've got 4 more years, what are some of the issues you see that you'll have to face in those 4 years?
We have a sewer district project. It's the biggest infrastructure project in Chemung County's history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's on the verge of $300 million. So we're consolidating 2 of the sewer districts from Elmira to Horseheads, and it's running down a new pipe down the Chemung River, and it will all be processed at the Milton Street plant. So Allie Rennie is our superintendent of the sewer district. She's done a phenomenal job. I mean, we have dozens of contractors up there, and she's put all this together. So it's working well. DEC says we have to have it completed by December of 26. So hopefully we're on target. Otherwise, it's big fines every day. We moved the district attorney's office into the old Marine Midland building, HSBC building, 150 Lake Street. So we're in the process of rehabbing that entire building to move more county offices over there. So that's another thing we're working on. The sheriff's office is out of space. It was out of space when I was there. It's certainly out of space now for evidence offices. The deputies are shoved into the basement along with CID. So we're working on a plan to fix that too. So I think 4 more years will take me right to the finish line.
That's perfect. Have you found, I know we talked with Sheriff Schramm about this, trouble hiring and finding people to work at the county?
We have, not only at the sheriff's office, but countywide, especially since the pandemic. One of the things, everybody wants to work from home.
I know.
I think they got used to being able to work from home. I think we identified maybe just a couple of jobs where you could work from home, but unfortunately, the majority of municipal jobs, you need to be, at your desk and in your seat. So it is hard. At any given time, we have 140 to 160 openings in Chemung County. The state is trying to fix that with a program called the HELPS program, and what it does is does away with the civil service testing.
Okay.
So anybody, if you meet the qualifications, you put in your resume, you sign up for it, and we can hire you immediately.
That's great.
But you have to have that approved through the state level. So we have 17 titles right now. We're waiting for the state to get back to us to tell us if they'll allow those titles to become those that we can just hire instantly. But it is tough recruiting. And on the sheriff's end, I'm sure you talked to him about it, but background checks are tough coming back with the way we need them. But all across the board, like I said, 140 to 160 vacancies at any given time every month, and they're tough to fill.
Well, I know with the sheriff's office, because both sheriffs have talked about it, there's almost competition between the counties, and then you even have at the local level, Corning and like that.
It is. It's
making
tough.
It difficult.
As soon as somebody gets a raise, the other department wants. I mean, we're in negotiations right now with the sheriff's unit, both civilian and road patrol, to get those contracts settled. But a year and a half ago, when the city of Elmira gave a 30% pay increase or 29% pay increase to the city cops, it makes it hard for Horseheads, the Heights, the town of Elmira, the sheriff's office. We don't have 29% to give those pay increases, but to sit across the table and tell those men and women that we don't have that, especially when we supplement salaries at the city of Elmira, it's tough to do.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention, because I know recently in the news there was the battle, kind of, if you will, with shared service agreements. Could you tell us a little bit where that's at?
Certainly. So 10 years ago, my predecessor, Tom Santulli, entered into a shared service agreement with the city of Elmira because at that time, it was something we needed to do. The county needed to keep a bigger share of the sales tax revenue. We have an airport, we have a nursing facility, and what happened was the county entered into multiple shared services agreements with the city to try and offset some of the financial loss they'd received from sales tax. But it was 10 years ago. So, I mean, you know what? Tom did what he had to do 10 years ago.
Sure.
Chris Moss has to do what he needs to do now. And to be honest with you, it's not a shared service.
Yeah.
It's the county taking on $1.5 million in salary and fringe for the city's DPW department.
Wow.
So, it's time for them. So my idea was, you know what, you guys need to start taking your DPW department back. So I offered them a plan to take it back financially over a 4-year period. We'd keep the fringe, they'd have to pay the salary.
Right.
They didn't like that.
No.
So they went to the legislature and tried to broker a deal with the legislature, which started another issue between the legislature and the executive branch because the resolution said that the county executive has the right to enter into the agreement. So there was a part of the agreement that said we could abolish it by either party with a 6-month notice. So I sent them a notice telling them as of January 1st, 2026, it would be abolished unless they wanted to enter into a new agreement where they start taking over in stages the payroll.
Does it look like they're going to do in stages, or?
Well, if they don't, I guess they won't have a DPW.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, I mean, seriously, we're trying to negotiate it out, but Frank, I'll tell you, we can't, they're trying to hold me to an agreement that was fostered 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's time to redo that agreement. Obviously, we're not going to leave them without, if the county ends up having to plow roads, that's what we'll do.
Right.
We can't let those services go, unattended for the residents of the city of Elmira. But on the other hand, you can't give a 30% pay increase to your police officers and then have the county fund your DPW, and now I have to tell my people I can't pay you the same. They just don't get that logic. But believe me, when I sit across the table at negotiation time, I get the logic.
Yeah, I'm sure. Also, one thing I know that's always a hot topic that we've discussed in the past is the arena.
Oh, my goodness.
You knew I had to ask.
The arena, you have to
Where
ask.
are we at? Where are we at?
Well, you know what? It looks like Mark Stemmerman has stepped up to the plate. He's going to be taking over the arena. I think that's great. I'm friends with Mark, been friends with Mark for years. Although I'll tell you right off, I told him, Mark, don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No kidding.
tons of people have done it. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a money pit. It truly is. Over the last 2.5 years, the IDA thought that they'd go ahead and bring a hockey team in. So they've $3 million out of their fund balance is gone. That's what it's cost them to run this team. But you know what? They want to make it look like it's been a success. If you look at the numbers, it's not a success. I'm not anti-arena. I'm not anti-hockey. I've had season tickets with many of the different teams that have been there. But at the end of the day, the arena doesn't belong in government hands. No. I wish Mark the best of luck, but we got to get it out of the IDA's hands. Unfortunately, that's been another bone of contention with the chairman of the legislature, because he's also the chairman of the IDA. He has a philosophy, to make it work, and that's fine. I don't think. I mean, it's two different philosophies. I don't think it belongs to government. He thinks he could save it. Hopefully, what they've done is okay. But the one thing that I am bothered by is that they're trying to make it look like they've sold it.
Right.
But they haven't sold it. What they did is they signed an agreement with Mr. Stemmerman. Mr. Stemmerman provides hockey. The IDA pays him $40,000 per month for 5 years.
Wow.
There was 4 years left on that deal.
Yeah.
The IDA doesn't have the money to pay him. So they're giving him the arena in return for him letting him out of that contract, which equates to $1.7 million. So they're making it look like a sale like that.
Yeah.
It's not. Just tell the truth. Be accurate with
the
the citizens and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We have to do it. Don't make it look like it's been some success when it's not, because it's going to be hard for him. I wish him the best of success, but it's tough
struggle.
because people won't support it.
No.
They all jump on Facebook and say, go to the arena, go to the arena. Why are you against the arena? And then you see a game and there might be 500-600 people there. And it seats 3,000, 3,500. So we've got to find a way to either spark the interest again. When the Jackals were there, it was new.
Yeah,
everybody
it was
loved
exciting.
it. But you know how it is when things wear off and get different. People
A couple bad years.
they go away.
Yeah.
And it's tough. But you know what? There's some good things happening in downtown Elmira, so I think the arena can definitely be a centerpiece of that. So I wish Mark the best of luck.
There has been a lot of success when it comes. Just driving through Elmira not that long ago, it's looking really good.
It is. They're doing a lot of things. And Jim Capriati, you got to take your hat off to him. And I know Mike Cruzen works for Jim, and I can tell you that Mike's always been a smart guy. But I know he had a vision probably 12 years ago, and I still have an email he sent me on it of what they wanted to do to downtown. And I don't know if you've seen where the old Deister Butler is, or what they're doing in there. It's going to be a new restaurant, sports type of.
It's great.
It looks fabulous. I mean, that's just what downtown needs. It's a stone's throw away from the arena. So I mean, I think there's big things
There's
happening.
life, and it's
There
great.
is. There
Did
is.
you think when I first interviewed you when you were running for this 7 years ago, did you think you'd still be talking about the arena?
You know what? I did, because what is it? The arena's been 25 years, and it's just gone from owner to owner to owner, and it's tough. But I mean, this is the second time we've had the IDA try and run a hockey team without success. But you know what? Private folks have also run it without success. But all you have to do is look at the history of what it costs. It costs money. If you want to spend that money, in my opinion, $3 million of the fund balance of the IDA, what if we want to buy a piece of property immediately to broker some type of big deal?
Right.
That's money that's gone. I mean, the IDA they're a stone's throw away from having to sell some of their assets to build back their fund balance. And we shouldn't, our IDA shouldn't be in that position.
No.
It's the exact opposite of Steuben County.
Now, looking ahead, because I always like to ask you this, because of course you ran for lieutenant governor. What do you think about the gubernatorial race next year?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's shaping up to give us a shot.
I do too.
Truly do. I think we did very well with Lee Zeldin, and I think we can do great. I know Elise.
Yeah.
I met her in 2014. We've stayed in touch.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter, so I can't wait till she makes her announcement so I can be one of the first county executives to endorse her.
I know.
But I think it's going to be a big year next year.
I do too, and you can hear the excitement. I was talking with Joe Sempolinski about this the other day. It's the first time in a while where you hear people actually talking like, is she going to get in? Is she going to get in? There's that excitement. And Republicans, it's always a struggle right from the beginning, where she already has some of the name recognition.
It is, and I think we've cleared the field. There's no primary. We don't have to worry
thank
about that.
heavens.
So, I mean, she's been talking about it for 12 months.
I know.
We've got
Get
12
in
months to
there.
go. So I'm hoping, you know what, this is going to be I think it's one of our best chances.
I do too, and supposedly she's going to announce very soon. That's what
She
they're
is.
saying. Right after the election in the city. Can you imagine that in the city? That mayor's race?
That is just, you know what? I think it benefits Republicans.
I do too.
No matter who wins.
Yeah. Because if you think, even if Mom Donnie wins, Stefanik can use that. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
for
I
the
can't
whole
wait to
year.
see state-run grocery stores and free bus transportation,
Yeah.
and you know those are all things that would be great to have. We have to pay for these programs.
Right.
I can tell you, I mean, we're somewhat a conservative county, obviously in Chemung, but it is hard to pay for services.
Exactly.
It truly is. So how you can do some of those things, I don't know, and it doesn't even sound like the governor's in line with him on some of those proposals.
No, but for her to endorse him.
Yeah, I mean, that's all political.
It is, because she doesn't
political.
want someone from the far left, but he won't endorse back. So I think there's still a possibility she gets primaried by somebody other than her lieutenant governor.
He's a smart guy, too.
He is.
I've met him.
Yeah.
He's very personable.
Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't have the money that it's going to take.
No, and they're
She's
not
gonna
getting
have
the
money.
coverage.
No, she'll be the candidate. But you know what? I like Elise Stefanik's
I do, too.
chances
I do,
better
too.
than Molinaro,
yeah.
better than
Oh,
Astrid.
yeah.
I mean, I think she's got a good chance.
Well, she just starts with that name recognition right out the gate, where even Zeldin, look how hard he had to work almost a year in advance to get his name out there. Did a great job at the end. He's doing a great job at the EPA. But Republicans have always had that name recognition problem.
I thought he may come back and try it again.
I
because,
kind of did, too.
I mean, that's what we talked about back in 2014.
Yeah.
This year is the grow our name year.
Yeah.
And we come back and win. Then we come back and run an 18, but
Yeah.
it just didn't pan out like that. But I'm hoping you're right. Name recognition will go far, and if she can get the money.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be exciting. Well, that's just about it. Once we start getting into politics like that, I better move on, right?
You better move
is
on,
Is there
yeah,
anything
yeah.
else before we go? What are you
No.
looking forward to for the next 4 years? Or the next? How about this? How about the campaign? What are you going to do for the campaign? Just knocking on some doors?
You know what? We'll knock on a lot of doors like we always do. We have a big social media presence that we've always had out there on weekends talking to people. I mean, just people like Chris Moss because he says it like it is.
That's
you
true.
know, and basically, that's all you can do. I try and make the decision that the people who put me in office want me to make, and that's what you can do at the end of the day.
Well, and you don't take the easy route. You
No,
make some
you
tough
get-
decisions, and
yeah,
I think that's
you
important.
have to, and that's what it's about, and that's kind of tough sometimes with the executive branch versus legislative branch. Believe me, I don't do all the work. My department heads and other elected
yeah.
officials in the county, they're doing all the work. I get to stand there, and be the face of it.
Sure.
But there's a lot of work being done by a lot of people that work for the county.
Well, great. Chris, thanks for giving us so much time this morning.
You got
I
it.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
Since 2013, Dallas City Insurance Services has been your hometown insurance provider. We're small enough to give you the attention you deserve, but large enough to provide you with access to the nation's top insurance companies. The staff at Valicenti Insurance Services will help you find the right plan for your individual needs, whether it's auto and home insurance, life insurance, health insurance, or business coverage. Valicenti Insurance Services, Water Street in Elmira. Visit us at valicentiins.com.
The Twin Tiers Comic Con, November 15th and 16th at the Arnott Mall Event Center. Meet film and TV legend Ed Begley Jr., plus the voice of Pocahontas, the stars of Mallrats, and voice actors from Naruto, Kingdom Hearts, Street Fighter, and more. Veteran comic book creators and over 150 artists and vendors. Gaming events and costume contests with cash prizes. Free activities for kids, Q&A meet and greets, and so much more. Twin Tiers Comic Con, veterans and kids 14 and under free. Tickets on sale now at twintierscomiccon.com.
I don't know about that, man.
Excuse me. Right, Ink?
Come on, man.
No.
Ooh. You're kidding, right?
Actually, I do know. I'll text. You drive.
We've had many wonderful memories as a family. Dropping Shelly off at school, I prayed he wouldn't get stuffed in a gym bag. Missy might have been the one in Little League. I'm asking the Lord to watch over my little girl.
Well, while you're at it, ask him for a win. I got money on this.
But Georgie is the one who threw us the real curveball.
I got a girl pregnant.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? We may not be perfect, but to me, we have the perfect family.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, Elisa returns. Welcome back.
Hi, good morning.
This is such an amazing thing. How many years have you been doing Adopt a Veteran?
So this will be our second annual year, adopting a veteran, but every year we choose someone to give back to. So I do teachers every year for the past 4 or 5 years. Medical professionals around Christmas time. Probably this will be our 5th or 6th year for that. So we always like to find ways to give back throughout the year.
And you see on the bottom of the screen, that is your Venmo. That's the best way to do it, right? Venmo?
Yeah, so I am looking for donations. Adopt a Veteran, it's only $20 $25. And I do all the heavy lifting. I do all the work.
And then you put together, correct me if I'm wrong, like a gift box.
Yeah, each veteran gets a little gift bag, and inside it are some wellness goodies, some essential goodies, and a little note, handwritten note, thanking them for their service, with a list of all of the names of people who made donations as well.
Oh, that's great. So if I donate, then they will know that I donated,
Yes.
that I'm thanking them personally.
Absolutely.
And Veterans Day is coming right up.
I know, it's the 11th.
It's the 11th, so you got to be in a mad dash to get these all finished.
Yes.
Where did you get this idea originally?
So one of my Facebook friends, Lori Bly, she actually reached out to me because she sees that I do this for some other, deserving people. And she said, what if we did this for the veterans, for Veterans Day? So I said, that's a really great idea. So last year we launched it, and there are, I believe, 60-ish inpatients at the Bath VA. So we ended up donating or doing, I think it was 64, 67 bags last year.
Wow.
And they were super appreciative. So we're going to do it again this year.
Same place?
Yes.
Bath VA?
Yes.
Great place for it.
Yes.
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 So your goal is to hit 60? You're going to try to break it?
60 is our goal. If we surpass, great. But I'd like to do at least 60 again this year. Yeah.
Now, if someone's donating on the bottom of the screen right now at that, what info should they include? Just their name and that the money is going to the adoptive veteran?
Yeah, I'll know, but they can put adoptive veteran. Their name should be in there if it's their Venmo account, but make sure their first and last name so I can give them credit. And if they want to add any additional message, because I put together like a card with a nice message, but I like to put everybody's name and if there's individual messages. So they don't have to do that, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah, again, we're talking about adopt a veteran, and it's not too late. Originally, you had said November 5th would be the cutoff, but you're actually moving into the 7th because you just want, it's a busy time of year. You got to give people more time.
And I just launched it this week, so we want to give everybody a little bit more time, but it's super easy. Like, you Venmo me, I do the shopping, I assemble the bags, I deliver them. I let people know when I'm delivering them if anybody wants to join me.
Okay.
Last year, it was just me. I kind of videotaped it, and then I put it out there so people saw that they actually got delivered, and they sent us a nice little thank you note afterwards. They were really, like I said, appreciative.
How much time goes into creating the gift baskets?
It's a little bit of work.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Because I do some wellness goodies, and then last year we added some fun things like an American flag socks,
that's
and
nice.
hand sanitizer, and a American flag like keychain kind of trinket, and just some things to make them feel good.
So it's very simple. Venmo is the easiest way to do it. Can they contact you though if they're, because I found this to be the case in certain fundraisers, not everybody uses Venmo.
Yes. So I did have people reach out to me individually and say, hey, can I PayPal you or can I give you cash? And we were able to meet up. So I am very flexible. It's just I need help with the donations. I cover the cost of the packaging and anything extra.
And
yes,
like
exactly. So I use that $25 towards as much of the items as I can. And then I take care of whatever's left over and the packaging and the delivering and all of that. And yeah, so it's perfect right in time for the holidays as well.
Someone just asked, I don't Venmo. How else can I donate? I was ahead of them. On that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be $25. It can be more if you want to do more than one package. I'm sure last year you received more than.
Yes, I had individuals saying, I want to adopt five vets.
Yeah.
So they would do that, and you can be an individual or you can be a business. I had businesses reach out to me and say, hey, can I donate on behalf of my business? And in that case, it's even a write-off.
Oh, didn't even think of that. And the reaction you said last year must have been great to see everybody receiving their gift basket.
So I didn't get to give them, I dropped them off and...
Oh, yeah, because there are some like protocols at the VA.
Yeah,
right?
so he collected them all. They distributed them within the residency, and then but they did send me a really nice thank you card.
Oh, that's great.
Which I posted online,
Again, the goal is 60 vets this year, if not more, of course. We're always happy to do more.
Right.
It's just $25, and you can Venmo there. I hope that answered your question about other ways to donate. Before we go, Lisa, people would be mad if I didn't ask, how's Sylvia doing?
Sylvia is so good. So she's in the Netherlands, and she's... this is her, second year of university.
Wow.
And she's doing so good. She had her first big exam, and of course she killed it. And she's, doing all the things and just...
having fun.
She's amazing.
Yeah, and if you're new to the program, Sylvia was Lisa's foreign exchange student that we got to know and got to see her grow up here in America. It's hard to believe she's been gone as long as she has.
I know. This is... 3 years.
Yeah, this will be going on 3 years.
Which is wild to me.
Yeah, because she had that cool she took a little time off from school, back at it So that's why this is her second year.
Yes.
Right? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I know.
Well, good. Well, you'll have to tell her everybody's here says hi, and I'm sure people donate for you, but also for Sylvia.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one way to do it, because we always have for the Alzheimer's
We're one
walk.
and the same.
Alzheimer's walk. Sylvia always gets a donation. So,
yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes.
So.
But again, it's Adopt a Veteran. That is the Venmo handle, I guess you call it, right there on the bottom of the screen. And then if you want other ways, I can get you in contact if there's any other issues. Elisa, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Frank.
Let me know how it goes so I can make an announcement on the show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this. Stay with us.
Well, it's strained.
It is?
It's a repetitive motion injury. Do you do this a lot?
Well, I do give out a lot of checks. Now, what about this pain in my back?
Tender, huh? Do you play any contact sports?
Thank you.
Wow!
That explains it. Stick to friendly nods for the next couple of weeks.
You lather, rinse, moisturize, repeat, and repeat. But it never feels like enough. It's not your products. It's your water. Hard water leaves a mineral residue that clogs pores and dries out hair. Culligan water softeners remove damaging minerals, revitalizing brittle hair and dry skin. Upgrade your shower and skincare routine with Culligan, water you love.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck. Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. We want to thank our guest, Chris Moss, for being on the program, Elisa Trosha for being on the show. Just received this from a viewer. Sad news breaking this morning. Dick Cheney, the former Vice President George W. Bush, has passed away. He was 84 years old. Quote, his beloved wife of 61 years, Lynn, his daughters, Liz and Mary, and other family members were with him as he passed, adding that he died due to complications from pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Dick Cheney was a great and good man who taught his children and grandchildren to love our country and to live lives of courage, honor, love, kindness, and fly fishing. We are grateful beyond measure for all Dick Cheney did for our country, and we are blessed beyond measure to have loved and been loved by this noble giant of a man. Dick Cheney passing away at the age of 84. Breaking news this morning. So I appreciate you. Just holding on. Some guy yelling outside in the window. Not for me specifically, but just want to make sure no cussing bled through. So Dick Cheney passing away at the age of 84. Let's go to some more viewer comments. If you missed it this morning at 6 o'clock, Karen did send in her quote of the week, and we'd like to read that in the 7 o'clock hour as well. Happy Election Day to all, Karen writes. In honor of Election Day, this week's Karen's quote comes from the author-editor Oscar Emmerger, known as the Mark Twain of left-wing politics. I am not left-wing or even left-leaning, but I can agree with his quote. And I quote, politics is the gentle art of getting voters from the poor and campaign funds from the rich by promising to protect each from the other. Thank you very much for that, Karen. Some comments that we had while we were talking with Executive Moss and then with Elisa. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. As usual, the Republicans are not informing the country of what's in the bill that Democrats want to bring back other than health care benefits for illegals. They barely mentioned early on, but not anymore. They should talk all day long that garbage is attached to this mess. Americans don't want nonsense spending, but they don't even know about it. Come on, leaders, shout it from the rooftops. Thanks, Frank. Good job. Well, thank you. Mark writes in, Republicans are gaining more people in New York State. Could that be because no natural gas, overstepping gun rights, total electric, just to name a few? I think there's a lot there. And you saw the inroads that Trump made in the presidential year. So that, yeah, I'm with you. That's some exciting news on the heels of what could potentially be an announcement by Elise Stefanik, who we are waiting to see. But the original time frame was Elise Stefanik was going to declare. Now, she told at that fundraiser, it's not a matter of if, it's when. And then that when became after Mike Lawler dropped out. Not dropped out, but he said he wasn't going to run for governor. She came out and said, or maybe it was her spokesperson, I can't remember with the time frame now, but it would be after this election. Because one of the big takeaways would be Mamdani. Now, Mamdani did mock Cuomo after Trump offers his reluctant backing. I wouldn't say it was a glowing endorsement by Trump. It was and I think Cuomo has a point. It wasn't an endorsement of Cuomo. It was an opposition to Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani said on social media, I know how hard you worked for this, to Andrew Cuomo in that endorsement, mocking him. A spokesman for Cuomo said that Mr. Mamdani was lying and gaslighting. This is what Mamdani said. The answer to a Donald Trump presidency is not to create its mirror image here in City Hall. It is to create an alternative that can speak to what New Yorkers are so desperate to see in their own city and what they find in themselves and their neighbors every day. A city that believes in dignity of everyone who calls this place home. A spokesman for Mr. Cuomo said that Mr. Mamdani was lying and gaslighting. Only one candidate has a record of standing up to Trump when he tried to hurt New York and winning, and that's Andrew Cuomo. If you want President Trump to try to take over the city, National Guard on the streets, choking federal funds, vote for Zohran Mamdani because Trump just said he will be coming and his poser Mamdani won't be able to stop him. Elon Musk yesterday also endorsing Andrew Cuomo. Remember to vote Tuesday in New York. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis is really a vote for Mamdani, or whatever his name is, and he spelled it Mumdummy. Vote Cuomo. Previously, Musk had criticized Mamdani and labeled him a charismatic swindler. So Elon Musk endorsing yesterday as well. Well, I do think, according to, what is this? Oh, the Intelligencer. They said Cuomo is racking up some weird last-minute endorsements. One being Trump, Elon Musk, Nick Langworthy, who we talked about last week, told Fox News that he would be endorsing Cuomo from across the aisle, saying that the longtime Democrat is the only clear option in the race as Sliwa continues to trail in third place. I've had plenty of disagreements very publicly over the years and fought tooth and nail with Governor Cuomo, but there's no doubt in my mind he would be a far superior mayor than a communist. That was Congressman Nick Langworthy. Representative Mike Lawler also suggested Cuomo is the best choice between him and Mamdani, telling WABC hosts that the former governor was the lesser of two evils. Cuomo also got the backing of George Santos, for whatever that's worth. But not all of the state's Republicans are switching sides in the race. Representative Nicole Maltakis, the only Republican member in New York City, urged moderates and conservatives to consolidate support behind Sliwa, calling him the one mayoral candidate who has not contributed to the demise of our city. Anti-Semitic activist Linda Sarsour vows to hold Mamdani accountable on his campaign promises, and then boasted about the Hamas-tied nonprofit that fueled his rise. Boasted that she and a Hamas-linked nonprofit helped fuel his rise. Sarsour, a political mentor and close friend of the silver-spooned socialist, denies she would work for a potential Mamdani administration, but promised she would still do whatever it takes to hold him accountable, boldly declaring that she won't let him do whatever the heck he wants down when he gets to City Hall. I just want you all to know I'm not going to work for the Zohran administration, she said. I'm not going to go work in City Hall because guess what? There's got to be people like me willing to stay outside. All right. We have to take another short break. If you are just joining us, the breaking story this morning, former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. Have you been out to vote? What are your intentions on voting today? What do you think is going to happen in the mayor's race, or any race for that matter, whether it's local, whether it's New York City, some of the other statewide races that we've mentioned this morning? Again, I want to thank our guest. It's nice to hear from Chris Moss. I always enjoy talking with the executive. Also, nice to hear from Elisa and see how Sylvia's doing. Elisa, having that Adopt a Veterans program. If anybody else had any trouble, let me know. We'll try to make sure you get those donations to her before the cutoff on Friday to support our vets at the Bath VA. What a great idea. Last year, breaking 60. We'll see how it goes this year. All right, let's take a short break. We'll be right back after this.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
Hi, this is Till, owner of Hesselsen's in Amara Heights. At Hesselsen's, we care about your well-being and overall health, whether it's relieving stress, muscle recovery, increasing circulation, or just revitalizing the body. Hesselsen's now has 2 complete line of infrared and traditional rock saunas in our new and expanded showroom. Come in today and see why owning a sauna is the start of your new healthy lifestyle. Hesselsen's is still locally and family-owned and operated in Amara Heights. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselsen studio here on Market Street in Corning. If you have not heard the breaking story this morning, former Vice President Dick Cheney passing away at the age of 84. Okay, a couple comments. Find it ironic the press is reporting on JD and Erica, but don't report on the rally where Obama was flirting with a woman in the audience. That whole coverage, and again, it's a New Republic, it's a far left outlet, but to go down that road of consoling someone who had lost her husband to an assassination is pretty low, but we have new lows that we report on nearly daily on this program. Comment from a different viewer. History will be made if the socialist wins. What a sad day for this country. What a sad day for this state. Right now, yes, Cuomo has made some inroads, gotten a little closer according to polls, but it's going to be a tough road to hoe. And who was it that wrote this? It says Zohran Mamdani's success is a warning. Mamdani is on the cusp of becoming New York's 111th mayor and perhaps its most radical. He could also fairly claim to be one of the country's most influential Democrats, which makes the reason for his rise relevant far beyond the Big Apple. And that's why we've talked about it on this program so much, that it's not just about New York City, because it does speak statewide when we look at the governor's race next year, because remember, these same quote-unquote socialist voters will be voting in the gubernatorial race next year between, hopefully, Elise Stefanik and Governor Hochul. But it's also the nationwide implications, because he has become a star. He has been compared to AOC. He has been former Congressman Joe Sempolinski stated that if he is victorious, he will be the second most famous person on earth behind Trump. But one of the most notable aspects of Mamdani's political success is that voters know what they're getting. The young politician was born into a life of wealth and privilege, and from the perch he adopted a worldview centered around destroying the economic system that made his adopted country thrive. Voters have been reminded repeatedly about Mamdani's long history of radical politics. The unapologetic socialist has called for higher taxes to fund government-run grocery stores, free childcare, free public transportation, and vastly expanded state power in the housing market. We can go on and talk about his attacks on police. The list can go on and on. I don't want to read all of this. The best outcome would be for Mamdani to take a cautiously incremental approach and try pilot programs for his most radical ideas instead of immediately imposing them on the entire city. It seems that there are enough voters to put him in power, but if New Yorkers begin to flee in droves, it could force him to be moderate. I don't think we'll see a moderate Mamdani. But I think you will see people leaving in droves. There's already that speculation. There's already that talk by millionaire and billionaire. I think I read today there's something like 35,000 millionaires in the city, and what that means for their futures, and what that means for our futures when that money, that tax money, dries up. Now, the Post editorial board said New York City stands on the edge of the precipice, whether to barrel headfirst into the chasm of a socialist experiment or come to its senses at the last moment. It's Barrett clear. A vote for Curtis Sliwa is a vote for a New York City that the majority of New Yorkers don't want. The math is ruthlessly clear. Mamdani is unlikely to cross the 50% line because most voters disagree with him on all his chief issues. Polls and massive early voting turnout show that they don't want what he's peddling. His extreme views appeal only to the band of loud and energized extremists, but ultimately they have a low ceiling of support. Well, I think, too, it's something where the party has become so upset with the kind of aging factors in their party, whether it's the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Joe Biden, and what that did to their party, that they want someone new no matter what that means. And who that candidate is, kind of to send a message that the old guard is no longer relevant. And this happens in parties quite frequently. I think you could point to, for instance, Donald Trump, where Republicans were told time and time again that, well, McCain's the only way we can win, Romney's the only way we can win. And then when it got to the point where they said Jeb Bush is the only way we can win, that's when people threw their hands up and said, well, we keep losing with our choices. Let's see what happens with Trump. In this situation, I think a lot of it was to send a message that they want young candidates. But I'll continue with what the New York Post had to say. A large turnout by the silent, sane majority who care about the future of our city can stop him. The math is also clear that Sliwa can't. His ceiling of voters and voter support in this hugely Democrat city is far lower than Mamdani's, which has been falling as ever more voters realize that casting your ballot for him is wasting that ballot. The final Atlas poll of the race puts Mamdani at 43.9%, Cuomo at 39.4%, and Sliwa far back at 15.5%. Yet also shows Cuomo at 49.7% versus Mamdani's 44.1% if there were only the two candidates. And that damage is done. That's over. I mean, come on. If Sliwa voters get behind Andrew Cuomo, they stand an 11th hour fighting chance of preventing the city from being flattened by the oncoming progressive train. Doing nothing is also not an option. Cuomo will need those reluctant to cast him their vote to turn up, give the margins he would need every single vote. Now is the time to think clearly about our predicament, says the Post. Sliwa can't win, so the choice is exactly what President Trump described Monday night, telling voters that they must vote for Cuomo. With a communist at the helm, the city will be completely and total economic and social disaster, and calling it a choice between a Democrat who has a record of success and a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. Park your emotions, be clinical, and consider the consequences. Curtis Sliwa will have to live with the results of splitting the vote, and his voters will too. So your thoughts on that? I know many people, myself included, were surprised by some of the endorsements that came out for Cuomo at the last minute, including Trump. I was a little surprised by that. I was also surprised, and this isn't, I'm not using the term surprise in a negative way, I'm just saying surprised. Congressman Langworthy did, some others, Elon Musk, just kind of interesting because it is a tough one with Cuomo, and I've heard so many people say that they could never vote for Cuomo because of the nursing home decision that he made that sent COVID-positive patients in with our most vulnerable at nursing homes, leading to thousands of deaths. So I realize it's even a little bit harder than the old cliche of holding your nose. It's even harder than that. But we got to take a break because I hear the Corning whistle. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
And remember, you can call me anytime.
Anytime?
Oh, this is my client.
Hello!
Injury attorney William Matar always puts his clients first.
I gotta take this.
There you go.
Sorry, I gotta take this.
He's recovered millions for injured accident victims.
Easy out, easy out. Ooh, it's mine.
This is William.
Hurt in a car? Call William Matar.
When you're on, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip. To clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
In a few words, Urkel, glasses, nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. Let's go to some viewer comments. I would never vote for Cuomo, or any other Democrat for that matter, not ever again. I still think something's really wrong and off here, and my inner voice usually serves me well. Thank you very much. Ken writes in, Frank, the only thing that the sheeple here in the New York City race are free, 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 take money from the rich who don't deserve it more than you, and look at the huge smile. He must be a nice guy. That's a good point, Ken. I know they're making a big deal. Being mocked, he was being mocked too, but trying to be the common everyday man and sit in the nosebleed section at the Knicks game. But yes, they are creating an image for him that is going to propel him, if he's successful today, propel him on the national stage. Comment from a different viewer. Mark writes in, Dick Cheney has passed. May he rest in peace. Yes, Dick Cheney, the former vice president, passing away at the age of 84. And I have always said no Mo Cuomo, but I guess I have to eat my words because Mom Donnie is worse. So I hope Cuomo wins. I'm not for socialism. Thank you very much. And we got a bonus Karen quote. A quote from Dick Cheney. Thank you, Karen, for sending this in. It's easy to take liberty for granted if you have never had it taken from you. What a great quote. Rest in peace, Dick Cheney. It's easy to take liberty for granted if you have never had it taken from you. Dick Cheney passing away at the age of 84. Trump also endorsed not just Cuomo, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, giving a last-minute boost to the Republicans' re-election bid. That's a big name. You may say, how do I know Bruce Blakeman? His name is being thrown around for governor of New York, more so it was before than when Mike Lawler dropped out, or however you want to word that, didn't enter the governor's race. And most people at that point said, okay, never mind anybody else. It's Stefanik or nothing. Now, I suppose if Stefanik were make the decision that she wasn't going to run, which is still a possibility, then maybe Bruce Blakeman's name will be coming back around. But Trump called for Blakeman on Truth Social, calling him an American first patriot. Bruce has been with us from the very beginning as 100% MAGA. He is working tirelessly with the brave heroes of law enforcement, ICE, and Border Patrol to safeguard our communities, ensure law and order, defend our always under siege Second Amendment, keep our now very secure border secure, end migrant crime, and stop communism from ruining our once great cities. Now, on the New Jersey governor's race, they're saying Barack Obama's visit and endorsement was a boost for Mickey Sherrill. Democrats are cautiously optimistic that she will pull off the win on Tuesday, despite no political party successfully winning 3 consecutive terms in the governor's mansion since 1961 in New Jersey. But in a sign they're not leaving anything to chance, Obama and Senator Ruben Gallego are set to stump for Sherrill this weekend. Were set to. They already did that. Now we've got, how am I doing on time? I got to take a short break. We're going to wrap up today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Did we get to everything? Boy, this is a busy one. Get your last minute election predictions in. Get your last minute endorsements in if you want to do that. Today is, of course, Election Day. This is the Election Day edition of Frankly Speaking. Thank you for joining us. Did you early vote or are you going in today? I'd love to hear your story. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Getting ready to wrap up hour number 2. Wrap up today's edition. Stay with us.
Your tap water is delicious.
I know, right? It's this Culligan Smart drinking water system.
What do you think is going on in there?
I'm smelling a touch of chlorine.
Yeah, I'm detecting some PFAS.
I'm also getting notes of lead.
Perfection.
Sending it up.
Here we go.
Certified to reduce more than 70 contaminants. It's like having your own team of water experts. See the smart difference at Culligan.com.
Hasselson's is more than just your local hot tub and swimming pool store. Did you know Hasselson's carries Oakley, Costa, and Maui Jim sunglasses? Hasselson's also carries Luminox watches certified by the U.S. Navy SEALs. Hasselson's has the new all-in-one Metal Ridge wallets, easy to carry and easy to use. Hasselson's also carries card accessories, suspenders, leather belts, wallets, and dog toys. Hasselson's also has over 400 styles of men's and ladies' work and western boots and hikers. Stop in today and see why after 70 years it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hasselson's.
Big Fox 10 p.m. News is the first primetime local news for the Twin Tiers. Our reporters, Haley and Dante, scour the southern tier to bring you up-to-date news regarding local businesses, economics, and how national decisions impact our area. If you're not near a TV, don't worry. You can also catch our 10 p.m. news live on WYDCTV.com/livestream. Don't miss Big Fox 10 p.m. news on WYDC, on TV, or our website.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio on Marcus Street in Corning. Let's go to some viewer comments. I realize President Trump was a Democrat and he is more moderate and would have worked with the Democrats more effectively if they hadn't turned so radical. Thank you very much. Comment from a different viewer. New York City is already failing. People are leaving in droves. Mamdani or Cuomo, it won't get any better. The city will continue to bleed the state. New York State will bleed us. Thank you very much. Trump, again, saying, two breaking stories. One, that former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. And then we had last night where Trump endorsed Andrew Cuomo over Mamdani. That is what that viewer's comment is in relation to. If communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home, because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. I would much rather see a Democrat who had a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. Anyway, without reading any more of it, basically, to Cuomo's point, and I think he was right, it wasn't a Cuomo endorsement, it was opposition to Mamdani. All right, that does it. My goodness, what happened? That went so quick this morning. We had a couple other things that I wanted to mention. Oh, the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, said that Trump is right about secret Russia and Chinese nuclear tests. He went on X Monday, sharing intelligence assessments dating back to the president's first term, suggesting Russia and China were not adhering to a moratorium on the testing of nuclear explosives. Cotton, in a subsequent X post, provided a bit more detail about what specifically the U.S. adversaries have been testing. After consultation with Director Ratcliffe and his team, they have confirmed to me that the CIA assesses that both Russia and China have conducted supercritical nuclear weapons tests in excess of the U.S. zero-yield standard. These tests are not historic and are part of their nuclear modernization programs. Also, there's a really good op-ed if you have a moment. It's by Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, who is the Prime Minister of Iraq. He said, "Let us join in America's peaceful prosperity and help calm the Middle East." It's a little bit lengthy here, but you can find it at the New York Post. But he wraps up by saying, and this again is the Prime Minister of Iraq, "America has long been a leader in innovation and opportunity. Iraq is ready to match that leadership with its resources, its youth, and its determination. Together, we can redefine the U.S.-Iraq relationship not as another chapter in endless conflict, but as a story of prosperity built side by side." All right, comment from a viewer before we wrap up. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. Go vote today, unless you want America to become New York City, California, Massachusetts, Illinois, Cuba, Venezuela, Russia, or North Korea. Thank you very much. Yes, everybody get out and vote. As we've stated numerous times, I cannot stress how important local races are and how much they affect your day-to-day life, more so than even the national very often. So thank you for that. Get out and vote. And we'll be talking about this is a comment from a different viewer. Explains the earthquakes off of Russia and Afghanistan. Thank you very much. I know many of you went early voting, but I'd love to hear tomorrow what your experiences were. Of course, we're going to bring you the results on tomorrow's broadcast, so you want to be tuned in right here to go over the local races. And if there's anything you need to know, you say, well, I want to find out about my town council or my manager, whatever, just let me know. Text it to the number on the bottom of the screen, and we'll get that information. Even if it's hyper-local, we'll get that information to you on tomorrow's broadcast. Thank you again to Chemung County Executive Chris Moss for joining us again. It's always nice to get an update from Executive Moss as he prepares to run for re-election next year. Also, thank you to Elisa Trosha for telling us about the Adopt a Veteran program. If you did not donate yet and you're curious on how to do so, please text me on the bottom of the screen, that number on the bottom of the screen, and I will get you all the information you need to know to adopt a veteran and get them one of those amazing gift packages on Veterans Day. All right, tomorrow, the big day. We'll be talking about all the results. It's going to be a good one. So don't forget, get out and vote. Tie a string on your finger. If you're going to forget, make sure you vote and make sure you tune in tomorrow morning starting at 6 a.m. for Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox, we will see you then, and I look forward to it already.
Every day is a chance to do something meaningful. At Quick Fill, it can start with a tank of gas. or a cup of Bradley Street coffee. Free every day in November with a purchase of our Operation Give Thanks mug. Whether you're fueling up, purchasing a mug, or making a donation, you're part of something bigger. Through Operation Give Thanks, you can feel proud knowing you're helping make a difference in the lives of veterans and their families.